March 14th, 2022. A laboratory at Aix-Marseille University in France. Virologist Jean-Michel Claverie is staring into a microscope, and he can't believe what he's seeing. A virus that is 48,500 years old just started infecting living cells. After nearly 50,000 years frozen solid, it woke up in a single day. This isn't a movie. This is a peer-reviewed scientific paper. And here's the part that should keep you up at night. The Siberian permafrost, they pulled that sample from preserved ice up to 650,000 years old. That's the record for land ice. But the bottom layers of the Antarctic ice sheet go back nearly 1 million years, back to a time when nothing even remotely like us walked this planet. Nobody knows what's frozen down there, and the ice is melting. Right now. Faster than any model predicted. Picture this. You're standing on the Antarctic plateau. Negative 60 degrees. Complete silence. Under your feet, miles of ice that hasn't thawed since before a single human being ever set foot on this continent. And right now, it's slowly, unstoppably disappearing, along with everything locked inside it. Today we're going to break down what the Antarctic ice is hiding, what scientists have already found, and why some of those findings are giving researchers serious nightmares. But first, scale. Because without it, none of this hits the way it should. Antarctica covers 5.4 million square miles. That's bigger than the US and Mexico combined. 98% of it is covered in ice. The average thickness of that ice sheet is about 1.3 miles. At its deepest points, nearly 3 miles of solid compressed ice. Think about that differently. If you stacked every skyscraper ever built on top of each other, the ice would still be taller. That's not a metaphor. That's the actual math. This isn't just snow. It's layers of time. The top few feet, air from the last century. Deeper, the atmosphere from the age of the pharaohs. Deeper still, air bubbles from the time of woolly mammoths. And at the very bottom, an atmosphere that exists nowhere else on Earth. The ice is an archive. The most accurate archive in the history of this planet. In 2013, the International BedMap 2 project got its first real look underneath that archive. Over 15 million miles of survey routes, radar-equipped aircraft, satellites, ground stations. The first detailed map of what Antarctica actually looks like under all that ice. What they found didn't compute. Mountain ranges taller than the Alps, canyons nearly 1.5 miles below sea level, wide river valleys, the signature of rivers that flowed here hundreds of millions of years ago. In the east, the Gamburtsev Mountains, peaks reaching over 11,000 feet, completely buried under the ice. Nobody has ever seen them. They only exist on radar images. Mountains that don't exist, as far as human eyes are concerned, yet. And here's what the map also showed. If all the ice melted tomorrow, Western Antarctica wouldn't be a continent at all. It would be an archipelago, a scattered chain of islands sitting inside a shallow inland sea. The shape of the land we call Antarctica is almost entirely a creation of the ice itself. From above, Antarctica is one of the most breathtaking things you'll ever see. An endless, perfect, almost alien whiteness. But put a 1979 satellite image next to a 2024 one, and the difference is obvious even without instruments. The edges are darker. The coastline has shifted. The white is shrinking. But what if I told you Antarctica wasn't always white? That once, and in the planet's timeline, not that long ago, this was a completely different place. Warm, alive, green. 260 million years ago. It's warm here, not just not cold, genuinely warm. Average temperature around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Humid air thick with oxygen, dense forests of trees 9 stories tall, their canopies locking together overhead, blocking out the sky. Underfoot, soft, dark, living soil. giant ferns reaching toward filtered sunlight, dragonflies with wingspans of 2 feet humming through the undergrowth, early reptiles moving through the brush. Life everywhere. This isn't imagination. This is something we can actually prove. November 2016. Geologist Erik Gulbrandsen from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee is climbing the slopes of the Transantarctic Mountains, about 2,000 feet above the ice, -22 degrees Fahrenheit, wind strong enough to knock you sideways, and suddenly, fossilized tree trunks are sticking out of bare rock. Not one, not two, 13, an entire fragment of that ancient forest, locked in stone for 260 million years. Trunks with preserved bark structure, branches. In some samples, leaves, with visible veins. Roots that once reached down into warm Antarctic soil. This isn't abstract paleontology. It's tangible. You could reach out and touch it. Gulbrandsen said something in an interview that I haven't been able to shake. Sometimes you realize you're the first person who's ever climbed this particular mountain. The first person. On a mountain. That stood here when that forest was still alive. His team went on to find 5 more forest sites, nearly double all the previously known fossil forests in Antarctica combined. Different eras, different tree species, layers of time, stacked one on top of another. And then, something changed. Around 34 million years ago, Earth's climate shifted hard. Antarctica drifted toward the South Pole. Warm ocean currents got cut off. Temperatures dropped. First, snow on the peaks that wouldn't melt. Then ice, building up year after year. Decade after decade, millennium after millennium. The forest went under, the rivers froze, the soil turned to stone, the animals vanished. In a few million years, which is basically overnight in geological time, an entire living world got buried under miles of ice. And here's the thing. That world is still there. Right now. Mountains, valleys, river channels, the remnants of that whole ecosystem. All of it sitting in total darkness under 2.5 miles of ice. Preserved, untouched, waiting. And not just fossilized trees. Nature is the most patient keeper of secrets. 1996. Russia's Vostok station, deep in the heart of Antarctica. Scientists are analyzing seismic data, and they're seeing something that doesn't make sense. Under the station, nearly 2.5 miles down, there's a liquid lake, a massive one, 160 miles long, 30 miles wide. About the same surface area as Lake Ontario, sealed off from the outside world for somewhere between 15 and 25 million years. This is Lake Vostok, and it's not alone. Today, scientists have identified over 400 subglacial lakes beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, connected by rivers and channels, an entire hidden water system in complete darkness. The water moves. It's alive. And the conditions in Lake Vostok are almost impossible to wrap your head around. The pressure down there is 350 times greater than at the surface. The water stays liquid not because it's warm, but because that pressure physically prevents it from freezing. It's a completely alien environment, sitting right here on Earth. In 2012, Russian scientists finally drilled through to the lake's surface. After 20 years of work, they pulled up water samples and found bacteria, living bacteria, organisms that hadn't seen sunlight in 15 million years, and survived. Life turned out to be tougher than we thought. But that discovery hides the most unsettling question of all. If bacteria survived in liquid water under miles of ice, what happens to organisms frozen directly into the ice itself? Not in water, where there's at least some metabolic activity, but in a state of complete suspension, basically cryogenic sleep, for hundreds of thousands of years. The answer to that question didn't come from Antarctica. Back to Clavery's lab, 2022. The results are published. Not one revived virus. 13 different ancient viruses. Every single one still infectious after thousands of years frozen. The oldest, 48,500 years old. Clavery said it straight. Our immune system has possibly never encountered some of these microbes. The idea that an unknown ancient virus could re-emerge and infect us has become a real possibility. Let that land for a second. Viruses that existed hundreds of thousands of years before the first human being. Our immune systems have never seen them. Because when these things were active, we simply weren't on this planet yet. We have zero defense against them. None. And here's the moment that changes everything. Siberian permafrost holds ice up to 650,000 years old. The Antarctic ice sheet goes back nearly 1 million years. What was frozen during that era? We don't know. Because nobody has drilled deep enough yet. Because nobody thought it was urgent. Until now. In the 2024 to 2025 season, Antarctic melting in several regions started 30 days earlier than average. Thwaites Glacier, which glaciologists have quietly nicknamed the Doomsday Glacier, is melting faster than every single projection. Warm ocean water is getting underneath it and eating it from below. When it collapses, and researchers say it's a question of when, not if, sea levels rise by over 2 feet from that glacier alone. And that triggers a chain reaction across the entire West Antarctic ice sheet. The lock is breaking from the inside, and nobody knows what's going to come out. Part 5. The secrets that stay secret. Here's one more thing most people don't know. Not all of what we've found has been made public. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959 by 12 nations, places specific restrictions on the publication of military and intelligence-related data about the continent. Certain high-resolution satellite imagery is still not available to the public. The official reason: national security interests and the sovereignty of research stations. That's a fact, not a conspiracy theory. Does it mean something shocking is being hidden? Not necessarily. But does it mean we don't have the full picture? Absolutely. And that's maybe the most quietly unsettling part of this whole story. We've sent rovers to Mars. We've mapped the surface of Venus. We have detailed charts of the ocean floor on the other side of the planet. And we still don't fully know what's under the ice 2 miles beneath our own feet. Finale. There's a moment in scientific history most people have forgotten. When Louis Pasteur proposed germ theory in the 1860s, his colleagues laughed at him. The idea that invisible organisms were killing people seemed ridiculous. It took 20 years before medicine took it seriously. Now scientists are talking about million-year-old viruses sleeping in the Antarctic ice. And again, most people aren't taking it seriously. History really does repeat itself. Right now, an international team of researchers is building a monitoring system for ancient pathogens in the Arctic, a direct response to what Clavery's team found. For Antarctica, no such system exists. The continent is too big, too expensive, too remote. For now. Under that ice, there are mountains with no names, rivers with no maps, 400 dark lakes filled with living organisms. Fossilized forests from an era we barely understand, ancient viruses older than our entire species, and data that hasn't been declassified yet. None of this is science fiction. These are the coordinates of a real place on our planet. Here's the image I want to leave you with. Every year, right now while you're watching this, Antarctica loses roughly 150 billion tons of ice. That number is so big the brain just rejects it. Try it this way instead. Picture a chunk of ice the size of a 5-story building sliding into the ocean, every single second. Antarctica isn't silent. It's talking. We just haven't learned to listen closely enough yet. But soon, whether we're ready or not, it's going to get a lot louder. Hit subscribe, because this story is just getting started. And the next chapter is coming sooner than any of us expected.